Welcome to the Daily Caller Newsroom. It's Monday, October 30th, 2017, Halloween Eve. And it's already a busy place because Alex Pfeiffer, White House correspondent of the Daily Caller, we've had some sealed indictments over the weekend, but finally some action this morning as people are turning themselves into federal authorities. What do we know?
Yeah, so today we found out about 3 individuals who've been targeted by Special Counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russian election interference. Paul Manafort, Trump's former campaign manager, and Rick Gates, former campaign aide, were both charged with 12 counts. And these are financial crimes unrelated to any sort of Russian collusion, money laundering, not registering as a foreign agent when they represent the Ukrainian government. But and then Trump responded to this by saying, there's no collusion. This happened years ago. They should investigate Hillary and the Democrats. Trump has been really focusing on the Uranium One deal in 2010 and the Russian dossier. But one thing that was revealed today that will probably turn out to be pretty substantial is George Papadopoulos. Trump campaign foreign advisor pleaded guilty on October 5th for lying to federal officials about his connections to individuals tied to the Russian government. And the indictment said that George Papadopoulos has had numerous interviews with federal officials in which he, cooperated and, answered questions. So maybe they already flipped him.
So over the weekend, we saw a lot of people expecting first arrests to be made in Trump-Russia collusion investigation. Based on the first 2 guys you described, It doesn't sound like this is Trump-Russia collusion at all. It sounds like they're being gone after for specific financial crimes that they just happen to be caught up in. This latter guy, though, does this fit the category of Trump-Russia collusion in any way?
The collusion it's such a weird term. What does that really mean? But the Papadopoulos thing is all about him setting up a connection with Russia. The indictment is all about him wanting to set up a meeting with Trump and Russian officials, and the meeting never happens. So, the indictment doesn't lay out that there's some existing connection. It lays out that Papadopoulos, who from what I remember during the campaign and from speaking to people, Trump didn't really know. He just, Sir Washington Post likes to point out that Trump said, he's a great guy. That's just because he read off a piece of paper at a meeting when he was at the Washington Post. He didn't really know who this guy was. He was trying to set up some stuff, doing his own actions. The one part here that I'm assuming we'll find out more about later is that Papadopoulos sent emails to an unnamed senior campaign official who okayed his continued communications to this unnamed European professor who claimed to have ties to the Kremlin and said that, Russia has dirt on Hillary Clinton.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, well, this guy will keep following it. And this, by the way, this is the sign of genius, so it's clear. Thank you very much, Alex Pfeiffer. Let's go to Ford Springer now, as we often do, for the big questions. Because, Ford, I want to ask you about the first pitch, the second first pitch, I think, in history, in terms of deserving, in terms of greatest first pitches. It seems like the same guy has rank 1 and 2 now, thanks to Game 5 of the World Series last night, which was already fascinating on its own. But tell me about the first pitch.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, George Bush came out and delivered another perfect strike right over the plate. And his family, has a place down in Texas, so the home crowd was with him. It was really cool because George Bush, H.W. Bush, delivered the ball, and then the younger one, George W. Bush, walked out there and just ripped it right over the plate. It was incredible.
Now, so George H.W. Bush, of course, surviving the earth-shattering sex scandal of the year. Also, so George W. Bush comes out, and you described it as he kind of is just facing backwards and then whips around like some sort of ninja and throws it across the plate.
It was something like that. He walked out with the ball right when he reached the mound. He took a step, turned around, and ripped it straight at Justin Verlander, who was behind the plate. It was pretty cool.
Did you stay up for all 5.5 hours of Game 5 of the World Series?
I did, and it was worth every single second of it. You should have stayed up too. Honestly, it was incredible.
Wow. All right. Well, if you didn't see that, here it is.
And the strike it is.
Sorry, that wasn't the whole game. That was just George W. Bush throwing the opening pitch. Check out the whole game wherever whole games are sold. Thanks for watching the Daily Caller Newsroom. We'll be back with you soon.